All right, guys, let's get into this alcohol ink card. First, I'm taking out some Yupo. That paper measures 5 by 7. I cut it in half. And now I'm just picking some blues. Matter of fact, I think I picked all my blues, greens, and I think a purple. Then I went ahead and grabbed my envelope maker by We Are Memory Keepers that I love so much. This isn't a traditional size card, so I have to make my own envelopes, which I love doing. Again, I think this card measures 7 by 3.5. Now I'm folding and scoring with my Teflon bone folder. You'll see that with this size card you have some overhang, so I cut the tips off of the envelope. Next, I'm just dropping the ink on the card. No rhyme or reason to it, just having a good time. With this Yupo paper, it doesn't spread quickly. If I touch alcohol ink to alcohol ink, it'll spread out a little bit, but once those little dots are there, they're there. They weren't moving. I could have used a blow dryer or something to blow them around, but I didn't because I knew that using alcohol ink blending solution will move it for sure. So again, just plopping colors down, no rhyme or reason to it, just dropping them all over. And I'm working on this Tonic Studios craft mat, so I'm not concerned about the alcohol ink getting on that mat. It's not going to stain it. I'll show you later how to clean it up. So here I just threw a couple of colors on this felt pad and then that blending solution over there by Adirondack, and we're just pouncing the dauber on the paper. Nothing special, just moving it around until I get some good coverage. Then I wanted to see what happened, so then I dropped some more dots of alcohol ink on there with some more blending solution, and it's just me playing. Now I'm going to clean up where the alcohol ink got on this mat with some hand sanitizer. Easy peasy. I didn't struggle. It was an easy way to wipe it up. Next, I'm using this Alta New Budding Rose stamp set. So I plopped the corner down there so that I can stamp wherever I want to on this paper without the sides or borders of the Tim Holtz platform getting in the way. That corner goes with the Misti, but it works in the Tim Holtz platform too. So next, I'm using this alcohol lift ink. This is the first time that I'm using it, and it's supposed to remove the alcohol ink from wherever you stamp it. So you can tell that the ink has been transferred over to the stamp. Now I'm taking that and I'm depositing that color onto a plain white piece of cardstock. That's what most people are looking to do with this alcohol lift ink, is pick up the color from the alcohol paper and deposit it onto the card. I was actually more interested on dropping color down where the image has ghosted, if that makes any sense. So here I'm cleaning off the stamp one more time with some archival ink cleaner, and I'm spraying it with some water, and I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to see if I can pull more ink from the card, because you can see it has a faint blue-green kind of color to the Yupo. And for those of you guys who don't know, Yupo is a synthetic paper that's very, very difficult to tear. It's kind of like plastic. So you blot this ink first and then you wipe it. I noticed that on my second time, I kind of blurred the edges. I'm not bothered by it, but I noticed that it happened. I must not have let it dry long enough. So here I am cleaning the stamp again. And so I'm going to drop it back down, make sure that it's positioned properly. And so then I grabbed the archival ink minis. That's what I'm trying to say. Archival ink minis. And I deposited the color onto the stamp pad, and then I dropped that color into that same spot after lining it up. What I learned is that I thought the archival ink was going to dry immediately, but it didn't. So I smudged the card, I smudged all kinds of stuff, but it comes out kind of pretty because of the color story. So then I grabbed the next layer to the Alta New stamp, put that over, and I position it. And in order to position it, you have to close it. What happened was it lifted that archival ink, so it actually made the rose really pretty by itself. I could have stopped there, but I decided to keep going. So I'm putting it down again. I'm trying to line it up. I'm going to try to grab it without that paper lifting up, but it is. It's so sticky. I could have put some more magnets down to hold that paper in place, but this is a brand new stamp, so it's super sticky. And then the alcohol and the ink are super sticky too. So what's happening is the stamp keeps coming up with the platform door. No worries, I figure it out eventually. So I've got it open, and now I'm putting some red archival ink down to go with the flower. And it came out pretty cool. It's not my favorite color combination, but it's what I had in archival ink. And archival ink is the kind of ink that will stamp on non-porous surfaces, so I figured it was going to work out just fine. It did deposit, but it didn't dry as quickly as I wanted it to. It's dry now, but it needs a substantial amount of time to dry. Then I positioned the last layer of the stamp and just deposited that color down. And there it is. It's kind of pretty. So then I took the stem and I stamped that and ghosted it and removed the ink, and I liked the way that came out, and I thought, okay, I just want to leave it just like that. Next, I took a leaf from the collection and I plopped that down, and I decided I wanted to ghost that, so I'm going to lift the ink from where that is with the stamp. Again, positioning it is it's a pain because it's sticking to the card and lifting the card, and because this is a positioning kind of card, it's important that I get it in the right place. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to stamp it multiple times, so I wanted to use the positioner instead of just using a regular acrylic block. In hindsight, I could have done this with an acrylic block because the ink transfers to the stamp perfectly. And I didn't prep these stamps at all. Shout out to Altenew because they make one heck of a stamp. So I patted it and then just rubbed off the color. And then I thought, okay, I want to add a little more definition to that leaf. So I grabbed the second layer to that leaf. No, the third layer. Not the second, but I think the third layer. And I just dropped some definition in the leaf. And then I kind of liked it, so I kept it. I hit that twice, I think. Yep. And I thought it was pretty, so I left it. And then I thought envelopes should always match. I mean, why make an envelope if you're not going to have it match? So I stamped off so that it wouldn't be such a strong color. And it gives it kind of a watercolor look with the same colors that I used before. And there I am loading that stamp. And then I'll stamp off. And then I'll line it up. And there you go. And that's the matching envelope. I think I grab another layer. I do. Not the second layer, but the last layer. And do the same thing. Ink it up, stamp off. And stamp right there. Headshot. Perfect. Now I'm making my card base, so I grab my scoreboard by EK Tools. And here I am stamping the sentiment, which is also from the Altenew set, with my VersaFine Clear ink, which I love so much. Nice, crisp, easy. You don't have to worry about having to stamp that multiple times usually. And I'm lining it up, and I'm pressing it down. And I'm throwing some Tombow adhesive on the back, lining it up one more time, and pressing it down again. Then I'm just grabbing the sentiment, and this could technically be a one-layer card if I had done it a little differently. If I had lifted the area where I just put that sentiment and stamped it down, I would have been good to go. This could be a one-layer card, which would have been kind of cool. All right, guys, and that's it. That's my finished card.